So what if the history you've been taught your whole life is a lie? Today we are diving into a text that makes a wild claim that our entire understanding of God, reality, and even power is built on a massive deception. Seriously, get ready to have your reality turned upside down.
You know, the source material we're looking at today doesn't just ask a what-if question. Nope, it makes a flat-out accusation. It claims that the history we learn in school, the stories we're told, it's all a carefully built facade, hiding a truth so powerful it could literally shatter our world.
And here's the core idea. For thousands of years, secret societies have been guarding this single explosive piece of knowledge. A secret not just about how the universe works, but about the true, and maybe, just maybe, terrifying identity of the God that much of the Western world worships.
Okay, so how do you even begin to unpack a secret that big? Well, the source suggests we have to start with the story we all think we know. It breaks down the history of Western belief into three distinct ages.
First up, you had the age of the Mother Goddess. This was a time tied to farming where community and the cycles of nature were everything. Then, as societies got bigger and started fighting, a new model popped up. Polytheism, with a whole bunch of gods that reflected a new world of war, property, and social ladders. And finally, as empires wanted to centralize their power, we get the rise of monotheism, the belief in one single God who's in charge of it all.
But listen, this was way more than just swapping out some deities. It was a complete revolution in how humans see the world. The source argues that the ancient world ran on the idea that mind creates matter, that our consciousness literally shaped reality. Everything was fluid, metaphorical. But then, the whole thing got flipped on its head. The rise of this one male god brought in a new rule. Matter creates mind. Suddenly, the physical world was the only thing that was real, and our consciousness was just a weird side effect of our brains.
And here is where the conspiracy really kicks in. The source claims that this ancient knowledge, the idea that we shape our own reality, was never actually lost. As monotheism took over, this powerful idea was called heresy. It was dangerous, so it was forced underground, kept alive in secret mystery schools that over time became the secret societies we still whisper about today.
And that brings us right to the heart of it all, the Great Deception. See, these secret groups weren't just preserving some old philosophy. They were guarding the truth about a catastrophic mistake made at the very dawn of creation. So what is it? I mean, really, what is this one secret that's been protected for thousands of years? What truth is so dangerous that it had to be hidden from the entire world?
Well, according to this hidden story, before anything existed, there was only the monad. Now, this isn't a god like a person on a throne. Think of it more like the true ultimate source, a perfect, unknowable consciousness that all of reality just flows out of.
Now, from this perfect source, different beings of light, or emanations, came into being. One of them, named Sophia, which means wisdom, wanted to create something herself, just like the monad did, but she made a huge mistake. She did it all by herself. Without her divine counterpart, her creation was totally out of balance, and it was a twisted, ignorant, flawed being.
This flawed creation is called the demiurge. Sophia was so ashamed she threw him out of the divine world, hiding him down in the chaos of physical matter. So there he is, all alone in this lower reality, knowing nothing about the perfect world above him. He looks around and comes to a pretty fateful conclusion. Hey, I must be the only God. And out of his own ignorance and arrogance, he starts building a universe in his own flawed image, our universe.
And folks, this is it. This is the most world-shattering claim in the whole text. The great secret isn't just some alternative creation story. It's the assertion that the God of the Old Testament, the jealous, angry, vengeful one, is not the true God at all. He is the demiurge, a cosmic imposter. And the world he built for us, it isn't a gift. It's a prison, designed to keep us trapped and ignorant of the truth.
What's absolutely fascinating is how this secret knowledge makes you reread our most basic stories in a completely new light. So let's take a look at the Garden of Eden through this crazy new lens.
Okay, so if the creator of the garden is this flawed, insecure demiurge, then the story is suddenly not about humanity's original sin anymore, is it? It's about a prison warden trying desperately to keep his inmates ignorant. He doesn't want them to know about their own power or that there's even a world outside the prison walls.
Just think about the core conflict for a second. On one side, you have God, the Creator, who gives a very clear warning. Eat this fruit and you will die, period. But then along comes the serpent with a direct contradiction.
No, you will not die. In fact, you'll become like God. It's a simple choice, right? One of them is lying.
So the billion-dollar question that changes everything is, who was telling the truth?
And in this absolutely stunning twist, the source says the answer is in the Bible itself. After Adam and Eve eat the fruit, what does his God say? He doesn't say, "See, I told you they die." No. He says, and I'm quoting, "See, the man has become like one of us." He admits it, right there in his own book. The serpent was right the whole time. The punishment wasn't for disobedience, it was for discovery. They got kicked out because their jailer was terrified they'd realize their own divinity.
So how did Eve know who to trust? The source says it's because every single human being carries a tiny piece of the true God, the monad, inside of them. You can think of it like a divine spark or an inner light. It's that gut feeling, that intuition that tells you when something is just off. That's our direct line to the real source, and it's what let her see right through the demiurge's lies.
And all of this brings us to the final and, honestly, the most important piece of this entire puzzle. What this secret knowledge is really all about.
So let's just lay it all out. 1. Our physical universe is a prison, built by a lesser, ignorant God. 2. We aren't just creatures of this prison. Every one of us has a spark of the real, perfect God inside. And 3. The whole point of a spiritual life, according to these secret groups, is to find that inner light and use it like a key to break out of this fake reality.
And that's when you realize what the ultimate secret really is. It isn't just about exposing a fake God. That's just step 1. The real, ancient knowledge, the idea so dangerous it had to be hidden, is that we, you, me, all of us, have that divine spark of creation inside. The power of mind over matter isn't some fantasy, it's our birthright.
And so that leaves us with one final massive question. If any of this is right, if we're not just pieces in a game, but are actually co-creators of reality, carrying a piece of God inside us, then what kind of world are we going to choose to build with that power?